welcome to Chandler In Focus. I'm Councilmember Renee Lopez, and today we're going to talk about the LibCon 2018. So my guests today are Nicholas Resteiner and Allison Bullock, both library assistants with the Chandler Public Library. Thank you for joining us today. So first, we're going to start talking about your background. So Allison, let's start with you.
Hi, I work at the Hamilton branch of our Chandler Public Library, and it's with Hamilton High School. And I mainly do the elementary school programs there, including teen as well, but I also dabble in our adult programming with our late night recess series.
Oh, like the late night recess. Another good
yes, those
idea.
are fun.
Awesome. Nicholas?
So I am a library assistant as well at the Downtown Library branch. Like Allison, I focus primarily on elementary school age programming, but I don't get to do any of the fun adult stuff or teen stuff that she does. But I primarily focus on our science programs as well as some light story times.
Science can be fun too.
Yeah,
And that's kind of what we're talking about, like sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So my understanding, this is the 8th year now that Chandler's been doing the LibCon. So we refer to it as LibCon Library Convention. So mini convention for preteens and teenagers, 12 to 18, correct? So give me some background on the history of the event, how it came about, and how we've been able to make it last for 8 years.
Sure. As you said, this is our 8th year, and pretty much it came about as wanting to get teens involved, as well as the community involved to share their favorite fandoms and hobbies. And it's also, what we wanted to do is give the young people a chance to attend this event because it's free for one thing, and it's even like close by, because usually most of the normal Comic-Cons, they're either expensive or they're too far away to travel.
Yeah. Do you want add anything to that one, Nicholas?
No,
Some history?
she's pretty much covering it all. She's killing it.
So we talk about it being local, and we're going to get into some more detail about that. But I mean, some of the cons that we talked about, I mean, New York, Indiana has one, San Diego Comic-Con, even the local Phoenix Con. Sometimes it can be a challenge to get to.
It can.
I mean, tickets can be fairly expensive. So this is a great venue in order for kids of all ages, 12 to 18, right, to be able to have that con experience. So thank you for helping getting this organized and talking about that. What does it entail, Allison, on the organization of putting something like this together?
So it pretty much immediately we start planning as soon as the old one has ended. We all get together, librarians, library assistants, mainly in the teen background, and we just start doing, how it went, whether it's all been successful, and what we like to keep and not keep. We even do everything from picking vendors, choosing presenters, but we mainly want to focus on what teens like right now. So that's how we'll choose vendors and presenters as well. And just what teens like right now.
Okay.
So we also try to get library assistants and staff, if possible, from all 4 of our library branches, just because we don't like to have a preponderance from one branch. I think for a year it was basically everybody from downtown did it, but almost nobody else. So we usually have monthly committee meetings as well, and we kind of just talk about like if there's any updates. For example, the last meeting we had, we had finalized our vendor list and our presenter list, and then we also kind of we set the layout, we do all that sort of thing. So we have monthly meetings up until the month of, and that involves usually probably about 7 to 10 people, typically, and that's that. Like Allison said, that's for about a year.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as the old one is done.
Yeah. Well, with these events, I mean, they get bigger and bigger, and it takes a lot of kind of lessons learned and practice. So, as you said, things change.
Exactly.
And having to keep your pulse on the pop culture of the year, and especially with anime and some of the other stuff that changes very, very quickly, with new movies that came out or coming out, or new anime. It definitely directs. It's interesting how quickly it'll shift and direct kids' interest into something that was very obscure. I'm thinking back to Pokemon, how that all of a sudden popped up again, and it had been dead for a decade.
Think last year there was a whole zombie thing that went on.
Well, zombies will never go away.
I know.
They will never die.
That's true, they never do.
So as part of the expression of the teens, you said, again, their involvement, being able to come in cosplay, correct? And it's not just, I want to say this, it's the fun part, but in order to be read in or literally to be read into a lot of these genres, it is pop culture, it's movies and anime, but it's also the literature behind it, right? And there's a lot of background, as we were talking about when some of the others are like the Doctor Who's and the Star Wars and Star Trek. There's a lot of books and novels that go behind that. So what is LibCon doing this year in order to kind of tie that back again to literacy?
So the nice thing about LibCon this year is we're actually holding it at our downtown library. So right there, that's a pretty big tie into literacy. That was an easy one for us. We are actually having the whole library open to the teens this year. We originally thought about cordoning parts of it off, but we just decided they get free reign. So hopefully, we're hoping that that's going to allow them to kind of go places they normally wouldn't and find books they normally wouldn't. So for example,
That's a great idea.
like they might go venture further into the fiction stacks than they normally do, whereas a lot of them usually stay around kind of the comic books and that sort of area. But they will also be able to check out items as well.
Okay.
So we'll have staff members on hand to help them out with that. And we're hoping, since this is such a big event, that we'll get people that normally wouldn't visit the downtown library. It can be kind of a drive for some people in Chandler, but the downtown library does have the largest selection of teen items. So we're hoping that will get more people exposed to those items that we have as well.
So as a self-proclaimed anti-bookworm, I was never a big reader. But in about junior high, a little earlier, my main venue for reading was comic books. That's, I don't want to say when I started reading first novel, that's gonna give too much away. But comic books was my one venue into literacy in various fashions. Because even back then, they had some of the classics in comics. And they're not like the comics of old, or that these were actually hard words. It's actually helping them realize how comics can drive that literacy. And to your point, getting the kids interested, opening them up to the different areas of the library, they could possibly find something that they never knew they were interested in.
Find a new genre.
Right, hopefully.
Right.
That's the goal. So in addition to promoting the creativity for the kids, what other events of the LibCon, how is that important to get these 12 to 18-year-olds to come out and attend?
Oh,
Go ahead.
So it's that age can be hard to get kids into the library at that age. Usually they kind of drift away after, their parents will bring them to story times when they're younger. A lot of the times they'll come to some of our after school programs when they're, 9 to 11. But then once they hit that 12-year-old, they find other things to do typically. Or they just don't have the time, or they've got other commitments. So we're hoping that by having this event, it shows the teens, look, we want to do something that you enjoy too. We're programming for you. Kind of like Allison said, we're trying to keep up on their pop culture trends too. We don't want this to be something that they won't enjoy, that we're going to have just for the sake of having it. And we actually, it's teens only, so there won't be any younger kids. There won't be any adults. So that, we hope, provides more of a safe space where teens can just be teens rather than having to worry about watching their siblings or, worrying about what adults are going to think. They can be loud. They can, they can be obnoxious. Yeah, they can be teens. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, as you said, it's important because this also allows the kids to express themselves, whether through like their writing or the costumes that they create, because they can be so creative at our LibCons. With the books that they read, it also tells them that it's okay to be who you are, that it's cool to be who you are and express themselves. And it also enables them to find people who like the same things that they do. Yeah, with any fandoms and everything.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting thing. I've attended a lot of the larger cons in New York and San Diego, Phoenix, like I mentioned. But it's interesting, my daughter got into some of the anime and some of the very niche anime I wasn't very well aware of. And so we went to go see a screening of one of the movies she thought would be empty, and it was standing room only.
Wow.
So it's interesting that some of the kids, in even over the last few years of the Comic-Con, there would be many teens dressed up in the same genres, and them not realizing that they had similar interests. It causes them to, group together and find friends that they never knew they could
Yeah.
have. So outside of just dressing up or cosplay, what other ways can the participants get involved in the LibCon?
So they can attend any of our panels. We're going to have, I know the one I'm really excited about is our crafting panel led by one of our employees, Chris Koth. So she is going to be doing 3 different crafts. I believe they're braided bookmarks, regular coloring, kind of intricate coloring art like mandalas, that sort of thing. And she's also going to be doing clipboard craft, which is going to be really exciting. So that's all something that they'll be able to take home with them. So they'll be able to have this memento like, hey, I went to Comic LibCon in 2018 and it was awesome. I wonder what they're going to be doing next year. And we're going to be promoting some of our teen programs as well. So our downtown has a teen program every Wednesday from 4 to 6 called SMART. And so hopefully that'll get some more teens to think, I didn't even know that existed. I'm going to start coming now.
Yeah, a lot of it's just getting the word out.
Exactly.
Allison, what else is new that you're looking forward to?
Well, we're still going to have the fashion show that we have at the very end. And I've always enjoyed that because it allows the teens to get up there and flaunt their costumes that they created.
Good. So last year's event, we had Tom Levine, who was a young adult writer, come out and actually speak and talk about his book. Are there any other special guests or presenters that we have for the 2018 LibCon?
The one that I'm really excited about is actually a K-pop group at the very end. So like
Really?
Korean pop,
Really?
yep. And I believe they're from Hamilton High School, correct, Allison?
I think they're actually going to be from Basha.
Okay, so they're from one of our
So
local
one of our local high schools.
One of our local high schools,
They
yes.
have they've done their own K-pop group, huh?
They have, and that's super exciting.
So are they live or are they lip syncing K-pop? I don't know if you can
No,
lip sync K-pop.
well, so last year Hamilton K-pop group did it last year, and they were live. I actually got to watch them rehearse last year, and they're actually really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, K-pop is one of those other genres that's popped up that I don't quite
Oh, I know.
understand.
It's growing more steadily.
Exactly, yeah. At first it was J-pop, now it's K-pop, and who knows what it's going to be next.
I must have missed the J-pop genre. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Too old. I wouldn't doubt it. So some of the other artists that are going to be coming in vendors, I think we're going to have available. I've noted the last few times that I've been there, and we had a large vendor hall. We're going to still have a vendor hall this year?
We are still going to have a vendor hall, and I believe we're going to have more than we had last year.
Yes.
And many of them are going to bring their own creations, including like polymer clay, jewelry, decals that can be bought for like $2, and even handmade mochi plushes, which I still don't quite know what that is. And some of original print fan art. And then we even have a vendor that who he entitles himself as a self-proclaimed picker. I'm not quite sure what that means. But he'll be selling vintage and modern collectible toys and comics.
Okay.
Including like Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and some of the other like manga toys. And most of these items can be bought for like between $2 to $10, so they're relatively cheap. And there will be some that will be doing higher expensive items. So yeah, just a memento to pick up.
So I'm going to have to send my son there with a few dollars and
Exactly.
pick something out for Father's Day.
Yeah, there you go.
So over the last year, you've been involved, I think you said a couple of years now.
Couple years, yeah. This will be my third year.
This is your third year, and you were involved for this year alone. But what is some of the most interesting things that you've seen so far at the LibCon, and what are you looking forward to the most?
Okay, I'll start. So what I'm looking forward to the most is actually just kind of seeing how such a big event comes together. Just kind of logistically, the hurdles that we're going to have to overcome, how we adjust things. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people dress, like how intricate the costumes get as well.
Yeah.
Phoenix Comic-Con, they had some pretty intricate costumes. I also saw probably 50 or 60 Doctor Who's. So I'm hoping we don't get that many, but I'm just really looking forward to seeing a lot of the costumes. I think that the teens are going to be very creative, and I'm really looking forward to what they can do.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to too.
Cosplay.
I've always, yeah. I mean, these teens, they come up with such intricate and expressive costumes. I remember, I think 2 years ago, we had someone dress up as Deadpool. We had someone dress up as Spider-Man, and then there's the array of like anime and manga characters that I don't even know. That, I mean, they just put so much creativity and hard work into these costumes, and they just get to show them off. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, and as part of that, it's not just the artistic expression, right? But this is something where it's safe that they're able to be in character. They can cosplay and interact with their friends, and it's a great venue for it. So, you share some of the resources available to the teens to help them if they wish to further express themselves individuality and creativity.
Sure. Our libraries obviously have the large collection of graphic novels and manga and anime that we can provide for them. Teens can even watch their favorite anime through our subscription to Crunchy Roll. And then there's also the many programs that, as Nick was saying, that we do for teens, including, I believe we're having a silk screening this summer.
Yes.
Yeah. We're having a silk screening where they can create their own t-shirt design.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they can even learn like Japanese for the anime through the manga languages that we have available, our mango languages. And then they can even get, if they need volunteer hours, like many of them do, they can come and volunteer at any one of our libraries.
Well, like you said, by having a downtown channel, it'll expose them to all of these activities, and not just for the LibCon 2018, but moving forward, throughout the summer, because it's going to be kickoff for the summer.
Yep. We also have a lot of books on arts and crafts as well. So if they're really into drawing, which I know a lot of people who read manga kind of try to recreate a lot of it. We have quite a large selection of drawing books. We also have at our downtown library, especially, we have a coloring program that's welcome to all ages. So they can come in and they can color, they can draw, and we provide all the materials for that, which can be very helpful because a lot of those colored pencils, the manga quality and professional quality, are fairly expensive. And that's something that we're able to provide to them.
Is that an open, like freestyle, or is there somebody there with instruction or an oversight, or is it just for them to come and practice?
A staff member facilitates it, but there's no instructions on what they have to create, so they can color any of the sheets that we provide, or they can just use the colored pencils to kind of create their own art as well. Whatever they want to do.
Okay. Good. So also as part of the development, like you said, the planning starts almost immediately when it's finished. You get a lot of feedback from the teens, my understanding. That's why, again, there's been some adjustments, like you said, in making sure that LibCon stays up to date.
Yes.
But there's been a big change and shift this year previous to next, and not just the change in venue, but it sounds like a change in time and time of the year.
Yes. So as you said earlier, it is at our downtown branch, and it'll actually be shorter. It'll be from 6 to 9. And pretty much what we've noticed with the teens is that they want more of a relaxed hangout type of space. So and that's what we're going to do. We're going to give them just kind of like a laid back atmosphere where they can hang out, socialize with friends. And then if they want to go to any of our panels or just hang out in the vendor hall, they can. We're not going to push them into it.
No, it becomes an open venue, open con.
And we're also going to have an area where they can just kind of play games as well.
Yeah.
Like video games, board games. I'm sure somebody's going to bring their Dungeons and Dragons stuff too, as well. So that'll be a really nice way for them to kind of connect with like-minded people. So we're looking forward to that.
Great. So if some of the teens watching or parents watching Chandler In Focus want to go ahead and sign their kids up, is there a pre-registration required, or can there be day of?
So we actually don't require registration for this program. I believe it was starting last year. We actually stopped requiring registration.
Okay.
So they actually can just show up the day of. So that's going to be on Saturday, June 9th at our downtown library. They can just show up about 6 o'clock is when we open the doors. The parents will have to drop them off because we don't allow adults other than library staff and security inside for the duration of the event. But yeah, it's very easy. They just start lining up outside the door.
Yeah, and I think from last year I was talking with some of the people that came. They came from as far as Casa Grande
Yeah,
and
they did.
some
Casa
people
Grande, I
from
think even Anthem.
Anthem,
Mhm.
Prescott. I think somebody
Prescott,
came
mhm.
down from Prescott. He was talking
I think
a lot
even
from the
Tucson, too.
reservation.
Yeah.
I heard some actually drove up in a van. It was about 8 of them that drove up from the reservation too. So it's great. The reach it's getting out there.
It is.
Soon we're gonna have to hire security.
I
'Cause we didn't get to
know.
anything. So with only a few minutes left, is there anything we didn't discuss that we'd like to add in, Allison?
Yeah, so if they want any other information, they can go to our website, chandlerlibrary.org/libcon, or even our Facebook page, facebook.com/libcon, or give us a call at 480-782-2800.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicholas.
This is going to be a really exciting event, especially at the downtown library. It's going to have a little bit of a different feel, but I think we're all really looking forward to it, especially because I believe last year it was during the day.
It was during the day.
So we're hoping the night is going to make it just a little bit of a different feel. So if hopefully if somebody checked out LibCon before and thought this isn't really my thing, I hope they come back and give it another shot as well.
Perfect. And you said with the location, being on a Saturday night, hopefully it'll open up, like you said, a few more opportunities for them. Again, kids to get involved, show creativity. Can never go wrong with kids hanging out in the library.
Right.
Exactly.
Surrounded by books. It's great. So thank you both very much for joining me and talking about the LibCon 2018. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having
And
us.
thank you for joining us. I'm Renee Lopez on the City Council, and thank you for joining us on Chandler In Focus.